remember that when we're looking at the question that we've got on the screen, there's a difference between what they're asking when they ask us for a ratio and when they ask us for an angle. All right, so over here, they're telling us in triangle MNP, MN is 22, N is 90 degrees, and NP is 37 degrees. Determine P, just P. So, and they want it correct to one decimal place. Because they just want P, do they want ratio or do they want angle? What are they asking us for here? Do they want us to write something over something, or do they want us to find something degrees? Which of those are they asking us for? That's it, Narisha, beautiful work. Right, they want the angle, right? And that's completely different to the ratio. All right, I'm going to give you guys 2 minutes to find me an answer, and then you can just play around with the reactions and the emojis when you're ready with an answer for me. Okay. Sure. I think I'm going to share your news with all the other teachers because you've just done so greatly. Give me a second. I'm gonna screenshot this and share this with Teacher Kat and all the other teachers. Because this is really dope. I like it. Hello, Shilani. All right, 1 more minute. I don't know if I should keep doing these warm-up questions. They're quite easy. And I think you guys just like hash them out in like 3 seconds, which is great. But I'm wondering if they're worth it. And, let's see. All right. So they want us to determine P. So we're going to use P as our reference and we're going to label. NP is going to become our adjacent side. MN is going to be our opposite side, and MP would be our hypotenuse. What do I have? I'm just going to write H for have. What do I have? I have my opposite and my adjacent. What do I want? I want my angle P. And I know because I want an angle, what do I need to click? Anybody remember? I want an angle. Therefore, I must shift. Yay, I must shift angle. Lovely. Good. So I'm going to use tan. I'm going to use TOA. So tan of the angle P is equal to opposite 22 over adjacent 37, but I just want P, so I'm going to click arctan or shift tan of 22 over 37. Right, and if I put that in my calculator, I'm going to get 30,7. I know that it says technically it should be 7.4, but they want one decimal place, so 30,7 degrees. All right, and that's how we're going to start today's lesson. All right, I hope everybody's having a good evening. I've heard from kids in the other class that school might be cancelled tomorrow. Is that the case for some of you guys? I know the weather in some parts of the country is not that great. So, Narisha, I know in Cape Town it's been raining for almost a week straight. So I think, for flooding reasons and below, sub-zero temperatures, some people's, school has been canceled for some people. Yeah, I know. It's impossible. Oh, yes, sub just means below. So below zero. Okay. Schools just opened, Abu. Schools don't need to close. They just opened. Okay. So Narisha, if you ever want to sound smart, just tell people, oh my gosh, it's so cold. It feels sub-zero. The temperature feels sub-zero. You'll seem like, English from Woolworths. You know what I mean? Close them. I'm still on a holiday. I will gift. I know. It's a really tough one. Okay. All right. That is kind of true, though. It is quite cold, guys, I'll admit. And like I said, I'm up at 4:30 every morning to make it to the gym. So rain, snow, sleet, sub-zero temperatures, I'm up at 4:30. So it doesn't make a difference to me. I'm there either way. All right. Okay. Let's get into today's lesson. We're going to quickly recap what we did in the last lesson. We're going to finish that last question that we did together, and then I'm going to introduce you guys to another one. All right. So in this particular question, we'd read all of this lovely information over here. We'd done a quick read, and we translated, made sure that everything was over here. And then we took the information that we have over here, and we had written it as a ratio, as we normally would, right? We'd said that tan of the angle theta, instead of it being 0.35, it's actually 35 over 100, right? And then we said, if we translate that to the actual distance that they've given us, our adjacent side is 3,100, and our opposite side is 1,085, right? We just needed to multiply by 31 at the bottom and at the top. So over here, Tn was equal to 1,085 meters, right? And then we did the same with tan of beta. We said tan of beta is equal to 0.21, which is 21 over 100. And again, the adjacent side for beta was also 3,100. And when we calculated for the top, we found that it was 651. So Lm turned out to be 651 meters on this side. And then question 7.1 said we need to ratio of Lm to Tn, which was 651 is to 1085, right? And if we then reduce this or simplify the ratio, we found that the answer was 3:5. And I can hear somebody waiting to be let in. So let's let Buntle in quickly. All right. Sure, Abu, you've got a very sharp mind. Good. I put my phone next to my window and woke up next morning, realized my phone was not working. Oh, Bumzile, that's insane. That is insane. You put your phone next to the window and it froze over. Oh my gosh, guys. Okay, yeah, let's just be honest, guys. I'm thinking school must also just be canceled for a little bit. Okay, that's what I'm thinking. But I'm impartial because technically I'm still on holiday. I'm on holiday. My school only opens this coming Tuesday. So I'm still kind of, I don't know. I don't know about weather and getting up and sitting in cold classrooms. But yeah, I'm still on holiday. But it's because I had one extra week of school while you guys were on holiday. So it's not like I got the better end of the stick here. Okay. Oh, Asanda's like, and teachers have been depressing us with our marks. I'm so sorry, my darling. I'm so sorry. I know it's not so fun. I know. Okay, it's okay, guys. Here's one thing that I say to my kids, because the kids that I teach, I don't teach any of the really, really smart kids. I don't have a single set of really smart kids. We stream all of the kids at our school according to how their marks look. So I teach all of the kids who really struggle with maths, right? And guys, they really do they beat themselves up. Like, let's say, for instance, they fail a test or they just pass and they think that they did really well and the mark doesn't come out the way that I'm just like, you know, nobody died. Nobody died. Like, we're all still alive. Tomorrow, everybody will be alive. You know, life will go on. Ice cream will still taste like ice cream. You know, good music will still be good music. It will be fine. It will be fine. Okay. And if your parents are mad that your marks are bad, it's okay. They'll get over it. They'll get over it. And yes, Abu, I agree. I know Hulani did well as well. I also believe it. Okay, I believe it. All right, let's get into the next question. Are we ready? Can I get reactions from everyone? Are we all ready? I want us to lock in because I'm pretty sure everybody's seated by a heater as we speak. Yes? All right, let's get into the next question that we got. Hello, Ziketela. Oh my goodness, Ziketela, how are you? It's lovely to see you. I see Eric is also joined us today. Hello, Eric. Let me just check on everybody. How's everyone doing? Ziketela's here. Andisa, hello. Andisa, hello. Bunke. Hello, Fulufelo. Oh my goodness, everybody's back from the holidays. And Omzi, I'm not sure if you've joined us before, but it's great to have you with us if it's your first time joining us. If not, welcome back. I'm just not familiar with the name Omzi. And Timulucho, hello Timulucho. Oh my goodness, it's so great to see all of you guys. It's so great to see you all. Woo! Woof, woof. I'm going to share that. Asanda, I'm also going to share that with the other teachers because you guys are just like, you lift my mood. You guys are amazing. Sure. Just, we are winning all around. We are winning all around. I love it. Okay, let's get into today's question. Okay, let's get into 7.2. Right. Okay, so 7.2.1 is quite easy. It's only a 2-mark question, 7.2.1. So I'm not going to help you guys with that one so much. But 7.2.2, it's a 5-mark question. So there's a bit of strategy involved in what we need to do here. So we're going to go ahead and try and strategize together, help each other out to get to the answer. So let's look at 7.2.1. I'm going to give you guys about 1 minute to do it. It's not that difficult, I promise. Okay, it says, calculate the angle found between the cable and the vertical height Tn. So they want us to find MTN. They want T, the angle T, right? So we know that we're looking for an angle, so automatically we're going to do what? Narisha already said it so beautifully before. Yes, we're going to label, absolutely. But because we're looking for an angle, we're going to shift angle. Lovely. Well done, Abu. That's it. We're going to click shift. Good. Right. So let's start by labeling. We want that angle. We want the angle T. So we're going to label according to that angle. I'm not going to help you guys with this question. Okay, it's too easy for you guys. Okay, you're going to label according to T. You're going to use the triangle MTN as they've given us over here. And when you're ready, pop your reaction in the chat for me, please. Just 2 minutes. All right, take it away, grade 10s. Abu, that's not fair. Abu's already done. Let's wait for everybody else to catch up. Okay. All right, peeps, that's time. And I can see that quite a few of you are actually done. So, and this is quite an easy calculation, so it's not that bad. Okay, so 7.2.1, I know I'm looking for T. Let's label in terms of T. This is 1085 will be our adjacent side. 3100 will be our opposite side, and MT will be our hypotenuse. What do I have? I've got my opposite and I've got my adjacent, and I want my angle T. So I know I'm going to use tan of the angle T is equal to 3,100 over adjacent, which is 1085. So T is going to equal to shift tan of 3100 over 1085, which is equal to 70.7 degrees. All right, and that's the answer that we get there. All right, lovely. And Abu, it's not meters, it's an angle. Therefore, it is degrees. You need to watch your units, okay? Be very, very careful there. Be very careful. All right, and that was nice and easy. I would just like to point out grade 10s. I'd just like to point out that because at this stage of your grade 10 journey, you already know all the steps that are involved in getting to this answer, or we assume that you know. You don't actually have to do the label and the have versus want and the tan t. No, you don't even have to do all of that. You can go straight to this step. All you need is those 2 steps in order to get your 2 marks. Okay, so we're just going to mark that part and 1 mark for the accurate answer. So just a method and an accuracy mark. That's all. The other stuff is basically just for us to understand that we know what we're doing. Okay, so if you skip all of that rigmarole at the top that ma'am does, perfectly fine, as long as you make sure that you're doing it correctly. All right. Okay, let's get into 7.2.2 because it is quite tricky. Okay, it says here, if the cable car, actually, I want to move this a little bit, guys. I feel like it's far and we're already done with half the question, and I'm going to erase some of it. Okay, there we go. All right. So it says here, if the cable car C, so we know that this point C over here is the cable car that's moving from M all the way up to the top of Table Mountain. If the cable car C travels along the cable such that TC, so the distance from there to there is 400 meters, okay? Calculate the height of the cable car above sea level at this instant, right? So the height above sea level, remember we said that MN is our sea level. So this is at 0 meters, right? That's 0 meters, that's 0 meters. And P is on the same plane. So this is also 0 meters. So if you want to calculate the height above sea level, this is what we're calculating for. We're calculating for H. Okay, now we need to now help each other out. Let's strategize together. How are we going to find the value of H? And instead of us trying to figure it out by using some Einstein-y kind of maths, no, we're not going to do any of that kind of difficult looking stuff. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you, what is the most obvious thing that we can calculate for? What can we calculate for to begin with that's going to make this a lot easier? That's it. Abu, you are spot on. Which triangle's hypotenuse are we calculating for? Give me the triangle that we're going to use. Aha, all right. Hulani, if we use the small triangle, let me show you why Abu says triangle MTN. If we use the small triangle, if we use that one, we have zero information, and I mean it. We have no information at all, right? Because this 3,100 meters is from M to N, not M to P. So we don't even have that. We don't have that. We don't have the thing that we're looking for. We don't even have the hypotenuse of that triangle. So we can't start in that triangle. We don't have the information that we need. And Narisha, please don't make me laugh halfway through my sentence. Okay. All right. So we can't use that triangle. That's not going to help. All right. But Abu says, let's use the big triangle, MTN, because what we can do is we can use the triangle MTN to find the hypotenuse. How is that going to help us? Do we see it? Does everybody see how that's going to help us? Calculating the hypotenuse of the big triangle. Are we all seeing how that's going to help? Yes? Lovely. Bonus points for who can tell me what else we need to calculate for in the triangle MTN. It's easy. It's very easy. What can we calculate for? Yes, Pythagoras is going to work Hulani spot on. Okay, yes, and then subtract 400 from that. What else can we talk about? What else can we calculate for? An easy step, a very easy step, because we're going to need it for the part that comes next. Narisha, you need to give this a sweet to whoever can figure out what else we need in that triangle. We need the hypotenuse, and we're not going to be able to find MP. It's not going to help us in any way, Abu. It's so obvious. Yes, Narisha, give yourself a sweet. You can give yourself and Zaketela a sweet. Lovely. Mwah. We're going to need the angle theta. We need the angle theta, right? We need it because when we now work in the small triangle, we're definitely going to need to use trig. We're not going to be able to use Pythagoras. All right, but I like Khulani's idea. Let's go with it. We need to calculate for MT. We know that MN is equal to 3100. TN is 1085. I can use Pythagoras to calculate for MT. However, it's not just that. I could also use cos, because if I label in terms of theta, I've got my adjacent side, I'm looking for my hypotenuse. Or I could use sine, because over here I've got my opposite side of my triangle. Sorry, let's move that. I've got my opposite side and I could find the hypotenuse. So I could either use sine or cos, or I could use the hypotenuse, or I could use Pythagoras. So either of those methods are going to work. I'm going to give everybody 2 minutes. Please find me the size of MT. Okay, the long side. Find me the hypotenuse, please. Whichever method you would like. All right. And Abu, your spot on theta is equal to 19.29. I'm going to round that up to 1 decimal place. So we're going to say that theta is equal to 19,3. Is that okay, Abu? Because ma'am's calculation of angle T was 70,7. I want us to take theta also to 1 decimal place. Okay, so I'm just going to write here, start with the obvious, 7,2,2. I'm going to say that theta is equal to 19,3 degrees. And I can just write here angles in a triangle, or sum of angles in a triangle. It won't make a difference. That over there is 70,7, and this over here is 19,3 degrees. All right. And I can see Fulani is already done. Everybody else can give me a reaction once they've found MT for me. It's not difficult at all. Fulani, can I ask you to quickly just pop your answer to MT in the chat for me? Okay, in fact, if anybody's got the answer, please just pop it in the chat for me. Ah, yes, spot on. All right, good. Okay, except I used cos instead, and I'm going to explain in a second why I've used cos. Mine says 3284,6 at the end and not comma 4, which is fine. It's semantics. That's okay. Give me the answer as is. All right, whichever answer you've got, and then we'll see. Let's take the modal answer. So everybody pop your answer in the chat, and then we'll take the one that pops up the most. Okay, all right. That's fine. So Abu's one is comma 4, which means he rounded up to 1 decimal place. So we can all just round up to 1 decimal place. All right. Lovely, Princess. Hello, Princess. Okay, so again, you can use Pythag, you can use Trig. All of them are going to give you the answer that we need. All right, so in this case, I'm going to use cos, right? I have my adjacent, I want my hypotenuse, so I'm going to use cosine of 19,3 degrees is equal to adjacent, which is 3100, over hypotenuse, which is MT. If I cross multiply, MT is going to equal to 3100 over cosine of 19,3, and we're going to take your answer, which is 3284,4 meters. Lovely. So now what we know is that the distance from here all the way to there is 3284,4. I want the distance of CM, please. MC. What is the distance of MC? Good, exactly. We just minus the one from the other. Right, that's it. Lovely, Abu and Didimalo. Good work. Pumzile, you need to finish that sentence. You can't keep us in suspense. All right, so now we know that the distance from here, from M to C, is 2884,4 meters. Right, and I'm going to assume that it's starting to look obvious what it is that we can do in order to find CP. Yes? Who can tell me what are we going to use there? 3284 minus 400 is equal to 2884,4 meters. All right. So now we're going to use sine, correct. Which triangle are we working in? Which triangle are we working in now? Correct. We are working in triangles CPM or MCP or MPC, whichever one works for you, right? And we're trying to calculate for the height. We're trying to calculate for CP. So we're now looking for that distance there, right? And then we're going to go through the motions again. Label, have versus want. Remember, guys, this 3,100 is not part of the triangle that we're using. This 3,100 belongs to that distance, the distance MN, and we're working with MP. We don't have MP. Okay, we don't have it, so the 3,100 doesn't count. If I label, MP will be my adjacent side, CP will be my opposite, and MC will be my hypotenuse. So I'm going to ask you guys quickly, calculate for CP for me, and pop your answer in the chat or use your reactions to give me an answer for that. Okay, Abu's done. We'll wait for everyone else. Could we use the midpoint theorem? No, unfortunately not. And I'll explain why. I'll explain why in just a second. Let me just see what's happened here. Tristan is a little late, but he's just joined us, which is perfectly fine. All right. So you are quite correct that, to an extent, the midpoint theorem would seem like a great idea. If both of these things are above sea level and they're both, 90 degrees, then this is automatically parallel to that, right? But remember, the midpoint theorem gives us a ratio. So we know that this whole side over here, that would be the ratio of that to that. The problem is that on this side, we would need the ratio that 3,100 is split into. And we don't know what the ratio is. Okay, so basically it would be us making more work for ourselves, because now you would have to go and calculate what MP is and then figure out what PN is. And then from there, you would use the ratio, not the actual calculation, to find CP. So you would do 8 marks worth of work for just 5 marks. Okay, and it's really not worth it. So it would just be easier for you to use trig in this case. Okay, unless the question specifically asks you to use the midpoint theorem. Okay. Am I making sense? I feel like I went along with the long way around to explain something quite simple. Okay, lovely. Okay. To be honest, I think I'm going to explain that again, Khulani. I feel like I didn't do that great a job. Okay. So yes, these two things are parallel to each other. What we'd have to do is, because that thing and that thing are in a particular proportion, we would have to find out what this proportion is first. And only once we figured out that this proportion is equal to that proportion, only then can we cut those two in half. Okay, but unless, you know, that's like extra work, and it would work for sure, but you would have to express all of that in your answer. Okay, I'm sorry. My brain also just it tweaked a little bit over there. All right, let's get into the answer. Does anybody have an answer for me? I'm sure everybody does by this point. I know we all know that we're going to be using sine, right? So I'm going to use sine of the angle 19,3 degrees is equal to the opposite, which is CP over the hypotenuse 2884,4. Therefore, if I cross multiply, CP is equal to 2884,4 times sine of 19,3 degrees. Okay, and that should give me 953,3. Okay, so 953,3 meters. So this is 953,3. All right. Let me just check something very quickly. 1085 divided by 2. Okay, yeah. So it wasn't going to give us the right proportion there. Okay. We would have found that it wasn't the correct proportion, Fulani, and we wouldn't have been able to do that. So the distance there is 953,3 meters. All right, thumbs up. How did we feel about that question? I mean, it seems complicated. It seems complicated, but once we get into actually doing it, you realize, oh, we just need a little bit of strategy. We just need to think a little bit outside the box. You know, I mean, if you think about the steps we've just done, we've used Pythag, we've used have verse 1. We haven't done anything we haven't learned. Okay. All right. Shall we step it up a notch? I'm going to give you a question. I want you guys to try this question by yourself. All right. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I personally feel like it's an easy question. And I think that you guys are going to be able to get this question on your own. All right. So I'm going to help you out with the first, the idea, the thinking behind it, but then I'm going to leave you guys to do the rest. Okay. Here's the question. We're only going to do 4.1. I've scratched 4.2 out. We don't really need it, right? We're just going to match the information we've been given to the diagram, right? It says in the diagram, OA is equal to 1 centimeter. It has not been put into our diagram. Let's go ahead and do that. 1 centimeter. All right. It says AOB is equal to BOC is equal to COD, which is equal to 30 degrees. Lovely. They've put that in. And then AOB or OAB is equal to OBC, which is equal to OCD, which is equal to 90 degrees, which is also important. Otherwise, we cannot use trigonometry or Pythag if we don't have 90 degrees. Okay. So Andiswa, if you managed to join today's lesson, that means you are part of the Google Classroom. Is that correct? Are you part of our Google Class? Because I think that's the only way you're able to get at the link to yes. So I'm going to post the quiz on Google Classroom. All right. So once we're done here, you just need to go to Google Classroom and the assignment with the quiz will be there. All right. Okay. All right. It's not even that deep. All right. So the question says here, find the length of OD. So they want us to find the length of this side over here. Right. And give your answer in the form A√3. What that means is we are not going to click SD on our calculators. Because if we click SD, it's going to give us decimals. We're going to have something, comma, something, something. We're not going to do any of that. All right. We're not doing any of that. We're just going to use the information. We're just going to leave it as it is, as it comes up on our calculator. All right. Now, at the moment, we need to get all the way to OD, but we do not have enough information just to go straight to the answer. Right. So my first question to you guys is, which triangle can we start in that has the most information? Okay, and you're right, Abu, we could use um, special angles, but in this case, we're going to use our calculator. It's going to make things a little bit easier. Yes, Didi Malo and Abu, you're both correct. We're going to start in triangle OAB. All right, so first step, in triangle OAB, OBOA, OBAO, all of them are correct, right? We're going to label. Let's start by labeling. 30 degrees, this is my adjacent side, BA is my opposite side, and OB is my hypotenuse. All right, my next question to you guys is, which side in this triangle, in triangle AOB or OAB, which side do I need to calculate for in order to get closer to the thing that I want? Right. Yes, correct. If I calculate for the hypotenuse, it's going to get me closer to OD. Right. So we're going to start by calculating the hypotenuse. Now, that's as far as I'm going to go in helping you guys. I'm going to ask you guys to use your reactions, thumbs up or thumbs down. Do you understand why Mem says that's the only information she's going to give you? Do you understand why I'm going to stop there? That's all I'm going to do. Because as soon as you figured out the hypotenuse, as soon as you figured out OB, everything else that leads up to OD should be easy. All right. And I'll explain gift, but I'm going to explain at the end after 5 minutes. All right. I'm going to give you guys 5 minutes to do this question. So here's what I want you to do, gift. Calculate OB for me. Calculate for OB. And then after you've calculated for OB, think about which triangle you're going to use next. All right. And it should click. As you calculate, as you keep going, it should click what you need to do. All right. Everybody's got 5 minutes, starting now. See, Khulani sees it, right? You see it, hey? And just go with that idea. Roll with that idea. Go get all the way to OD for me, please. Okay. Because once you figure out the hypotenuse, everything else just kind of falls into place. You see it. We've got less than a minute left. All right, peeps, that's time. Okay, let's look at how we're going to approach this question. It's quite nice when you finally see exactly what it is that you need to do. All right, so we're going to start in triangle OAB. I've labeled already. What do I have? I've got my adjacent side, I've got my angle, and I want the hypotenuse. So adjacent and hypotenuse would be cos, right? So I'm going to use cos of 30 degrees is equal to adjacent, which is 1 over the hypotenuse, which is OB. If we cross multiply, we're going to find that OB is equal to 1 over cos of 30 degrees. And remember, do not click SD. The answer we should get out here is 2 root 3 over 3. And we're going to leave the answer exactly like that. We're not going to change anything. All right, and you're spot on, Abu. Right, now we've got this side over here. We now know that this side over here is equal to 2 square root 3 over 3. So that's helpful because now we're moving closer, but now we can't use that first triangle anymore. It's not really going to help us anymore. We need to move on to the next one. So we're going to move on to the next triangle. So we're going to go to triangle OBC. Right, and now this side in triangle OBC, the side that used to be the hypotenuse in the triangle before, is not the hypotenuse in this question. Okay, so we're going to label in terms of in triangle OBC, 2 root 3 over 3 is going to be our adjacent side, CB is going to be our opposite, and OC will be our hypotenuse. So now the thing that will get us closer to OD would be us calculating for the hypotenuse in the next triangle, right? This is the adjacent. I want the hypotenuse. Again, I can use cos, right? So I can use cos of 30 degrees is equal to adjacent, which is 2 root 3 over 3 over the hypotenuse, which is OC. Now, if I cross multiply, I'm going to get that OC is equal to 2 root 3 over 3, all of that over cosine of 30 degrees, right? If you punch that into your calculator correctly, okay, there is a chance you might make a mistake. You're going to get 4 over 3, right? So 4 over 3. So now we know that this side over here is 4 over 3. And that brings us even closer to the next, to the triangle that we actually want, because that's then going to give us OD. So we're then going to label in terms of this triangle. So I know this now becomes, this 4 over 3 is my adjacent side, CD is my opposite, and OD is my hypotenuse. And lo and behold, we're going to use cos again. So in triangle COD, I'll just call it COD. In triangle COD again, I have my adjacent side. I want my hypotenuse, so I can use cos again. Cos of 30 degrees is equal to 4 over 3 all over OD. If I cross multiply, OD is equal to 4 over 3, all of that over cosine 30. And if you punch that into your calculator, you're going to get 8 root 3 over 9. Right, 8 root 3 over 9. Well done, princess. That's it, Abu. I bet you many of you got to this answer. All right, now one thing I'm going to add here is that they want us to write this answer in the form of something with the root 3 sitting all on its own. So all we're going to do is we're going to take this answer over here and we're going to split it so that the root 3 sits on its own. So the actual answer that they want is for you to write this as 8 over 9 root 3. All right. How did we do? Give me a reaction. How did we do? Did we do well? Did everybody get to the answer? Well done, Khulani. How about everyone else? Yes, Princess, well done. Lovely. Asanda, where did we lose you, my darling? I don't want to leave you behind because personally, I think this question is one of the more easier ones. It just takes a little bit of forward thinking and you know, putting our steps in place to get to the answer. So if it was just, I really didn't know where to go, ma'am, I think you like just listen to the things that ma'am says. Which triangle has the most information? Find which side. Oh, a small mistake. All right, that's perfectly fine. It's okay. Okay, it's okay if we make a small mistake. All right, we'd still give you continuous accuracy marks and the such, but I hope you understood the steps that we took in order to get there. Gift, how did we do? Okay, that's good. No, I doubt it. I doubt it. I feel like you over-exaggerate sometimes. I doubt it. I have a sneaking suspicion you did well, and you're just like, nah, nah, nah. I can feel it in my bones. I know, and I don't like that because I know he's really great at math. I know he is. Otherwise, he wouldn't be in the standard class. All right. Okay, let's get to the next question. All right, we're not going to do all of it. Actually, we might have to, but this one is a lot more complicated than the ones we've done before. It is 100% a problem-solving question. This is the question that you're going to get at the end of the paper. Okay. Yes, we do. All right, we do. We believe in you and we know you can do it, Gift. Absolutely, we do. All right. So this is level 4. It will probably be something like 6-7 marks at the very end of a paper, and you guys will be discussing it with your friends at the end of the paper, right? Let's look at the question. Let's read what they want from us, and let's see how we can possibly solve for this. All right. So it says, ship C is in distress. So ship C is this one over here. Ship C is in distress. That one. All right. Ship A is too small to help ship C. So ship A over there, too small to help ship C. Ship B over here is 7 kilometers away from ship C. Ship F and C and D lie on a straight line. So F, C, D, all of that is on a straight line. All right. Who is closest to ship C that will be able to help them? All right. So automatically, before we see anything, we already know it's not going to be ship A. Okay. Yes. Ship C is the Titanic. In fact, let's name ship C the Titanic. The Titanic needs help. Okay. Who is the closest? We already know ship A is too small. They're not going to be able to help. So in this case, we are trying to figure out whether ship B, ship D, ship E, or ship F would be best to help ship C. All right. But again, we're going to work with the idea that we need to work inside the triangle that has the most information. Which triangle has the most information? Oh, and Abu, we can't say based off of my eyesight. No. No eyesight. We can't just say, but ship E looks closer. No. We must actually do, because these things are not drawn to scale. So we can't just say, based off my eyes. Yeah. All right. No, we're not doing that. Good. All right. We're going to start in triangle BAC, right? But if we are in triangle BAC, what are we calculating for in triangle BAC? What can we calculate for? Well, if we calculate for the adjacent side, we don't really have to, Abu. They've given us the adjacent side. They've already given us the adjacent side. So if we take the angle that they've given us 30 degrees, they've given us 7 kilometers. That's going to help us there. We already know that that's the adjacent side to my 30-degree angle, right? That's adjacent. Which side should I calculate for that's going to help me find the other sides? Correct, Abu and Khulani. Right, we need to calculate for the opposite. And I know that it seems redundant because we just said that A isn't going to really help us. But if we calculate for that side, if we calculate for the opposite, which side is this going to help us to find? Or which distance is that going to help us find? Correct, Tulani. It's going to help us find side CD. Right. Let's start with the obvious. Let's do the obvious. What is this angle over here? What is this angle over here? And what is that angle over there? Let's find those two angles. Find me angle ACD and angle DCE, please. DCE is the easiest one. What is angle DCE? What is angle DCE? Angle DCE? Okay, I'm going to remind you guys, they've told us that F, C, and D lie on a straight line. So FCD is lying on a straight line. They've told us that that side is 90 degrees. What is angle DCE? It's 90 degrees. Lovely. Right, so we know that over here, 90 degrees. What about that angle over there? What about that angle over there? Is it 45? Yeah, no, I think everyone might be right. Okay, how are we going to calculate for that? We're going to just look at angles around a point, right? So we're going to go 360 minus 90 minus 90 minus 90 minus 45. And that should indeed give us 45 degrees. Correct, it's 45 degrees. Well done, guys. Yes, absolutely, it's 45 degrees. So this angle over here is 45 degrees, right? So if we use this triangle to find the opposite, we can then use this triangle over here to find D. We can find side CD, right? We can find the distance of ship D. All right, we are out of time, okay? So I'm going to ask you guys, to just take a screenshot of this, and I would like you guys to go and try it. All right, I'm unfortunately not going to be able to come back to this question in the upcoming week, because we're going to be starting with something new, and that's what I want to speak about before we leave. All right, so please try this question. I'm happy to do the question myself. I do have the memos to all of these, and I will post the memo on our Google Class, and you guys can go have a look if you've done the right things. But let's chat quickly about what's coming up. That's what I'm getting at, okay? That's why I'm like, please don't go. Let's chat about what's coming up. All right, so the game plan going forward, right? So for the rest of the year, really, there isn't really much left, okay? Because term 3 is very short and term 4 is basically exams, and so we don't do much. So at the moment, what we have done so far, let me actually type this. I feel like I should type it in. All right. Game plan. All right. So the first thing that we've just finished doing now is 2D trig. Right. We've just finished 2D trigonometry. Okay, and I'm just going to make this bigger because I feel like it's too small. We all need to see it. Let's make it a little bit bigger. There we go. All right, we've just finished 2D trigonometry. From here, we are going to go into statistics. Okay, and if you are not sure about the word statistics, it's data handling. We've all done data handling before. We've all done mean, median, mode, range, all that lovely stuff. It's just going to be on a bit more of a more, you know, a bigger scale. Okay, no, we don't do 3D trig until grade 11. Okay, 3D trig is grade 11 and grade 12 stuff. All right. And I see the hand. I'm going to answer it in just a second. Okay, once we're done with statistics, we're going to do probability. Okay, and it's not going to be easy probability like I throw a dice, what's the chance of getting heads? No, that's stuff that we did in grade 8 and 9. The probability is going to be on a little bit more of a skilled level this year. Right. From probability, we're then going to do finance. Right. And that's where we're going to end term 3. We're going to do a term 3 consolidation from there. All right. Then what the one thing we will have left after finance in term 4 will be mensuration. And mensuration is just a fancy way of saying measurement. Okay, so your perimeter, area, volume, those kinds of things. Mensuration is just measurement, just with a fancy name. Okay, it does sound like a medical term, it does. All right, and once we're done with that, once we're done with mensuration, we're going to go straight into final year exam prep. That's all we're going to do, because that would be us done with the grade 10 syllabus. So this is the game plan for the next couple of weeks. Okay, we're already done with 2D trig. Okay, and we've done all the other trig as well. Then from next week on, we're going to start with statistics.